Hello Ratbags, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome to The Forest. Top tips for the PS4. Recently come out, this game is blowing my mind how good it is. If you really love survival, absolutely pick this up. Even if you don't like survival, scary games, action open world games, building, it's got it all. The Forest offers a whole host of things to do and experience, but it's pretty tough, so I'm going to give you my top tips for starting out. If you've got any more, add them to the comment section down below and I'll put them into another few videos. I'm going to be showing you guys how to craft, how to progress through the story and how to do some of the later game stuff. Hits here, let's go. The Forest top tips. After you've crash landed, make sure you loot all the luggage nearby, and also don't forget that the plane respawns its loot after a little while. Keep going back to the plane periodically to pick up painkillers, food, etc. The luggage can be strewn all around the island, you'll often find lots of it. Take the time to get into the goodiness that's inside, but don't dawdle too long. Patrols will be coming very soon and they tend to scare you off that area. Don't build your base too close to the plane crash. It's random every time, it will be in certain locations, but it will be randomly generated where the plane crashes. But don't worry too much, as long as you can get to the coastline you can orientate yourself and find out exactly where you are, so you can go to the landmarks that have got the same loot every single time. The coast is your best bet if you really are scared of any cannonballs coming after you. You can build on any of the little islands by swimming out to them. While they lack resources, they will mean that they won't harm you initially. They cannot go in the water. So if you are having a real hard time with patrols coming across your base, or you've built too close to an encampment, go and seek one of them little islands out to sea, or build yourself near the coast where you can run into the water. Better still, craft a boat. While they do require quite a few resources, maybe think about that on your second day. Building a boat means they will not be able to get you for a good considerable amount of time, only when you're going on land to get resources. You can go around the coastline scouting out places and areas. A boat is a really good start if you really are scared of the cannibals. And why wouldn't you be? They want to eat your legs. Crafting can take a little bit of getting used to, but remember a very simple thing. Putting an item on your actual cloth and then hovering over the cog will tell you everything that you can craft using that one resource. So you'll always be able to find out exactly what you can craft later in the game just by making sure you pop at least a stone or a brick or a bit of cloth. Most items need them components if you want to succeed, and so you'll be able to see what exactly you're going to be crafting in the future. So don't be lost or spending ages wondering what to craft or how to craft. Look at the cog and find out exactly what you need to get that super spear. But what should you be crafting first? Well, you do come equipped with an axe the very first time that you jump off the plane if you've picked it up off the floor, and then it's up to you how you want to play. Do you want to go melee focused? Then put a skull on a stick and use it as a good effective club. Do you want to go the bow and arrow route? Now the bows are a little bit weak and they can be a little bit difficult to aim, but they are useful. For that you're going to need a lot of feathers. I'm going to go through some of the crafting things that you're going to need quickly, but first off, I personally think you need to make sure you've got bags. Bags will give you more storage that you can carry before getting over encumbered. So if you want to collect more sticks, making yourself a stick bag is really important. You're going to need rabbit fur. Build yourself a little trap and go mad catching these rabbits at every opportunity. If you do manage to creep up on one, absolutely make it your priority to get as many skins as possible. You only need one though to craft a stick bag, and you only need one skin to craft a small rock bag. These are essential items if you want to gather resources quickly and effectively. When you craft a bag, it doubles the amount you can carry, so absolutely worthwhile very early on, so you can gather more resources in a quicker time rather than going back and forth from your base or area you're starting out on. Check back on your trap periodically, maybe put even 2 or 3 out if you've managed to get the sticks, but definitely on your first day get a rabbit trap ready. All that's needed is the rabbit fur, some cloth and some rope, and you've got your stick bag. Food shouldn't be too much of an issue when you start out if you've collected all the snack bars from the plane and the wreckage around it, but if you do find yourself running out already, it's time to get the old harpoon out and go fishing. Craft yourself a spear, really simple, 2 sticks together, and you can go and collect as much fish as you possibly need to get yourself well full. You can also dry the fish to make it preserve and last longer, and it's definitely useful for early game when you desperately need some food, rather than running around trying to catch hold of a lizard or a rabbit. The spear can be difficult to catch animals with just throwing it, so that's why fishing is so important if you're looking for food early game. If you're running out of water and you've drunk all your soda cans, don't forget to drink the water that's around you. Yes, it will give you a tiny little health decrease, but the benefits of making sure you're well watered is much more important. Depending on where you've built your camp, you may encounter cannibals earlier than most. It all just depends on their patrol routes. They have set patrols and they'll come for you if they're anywhere near it. Also, things like having your fireplace exposed and drying racks going for too long will alert locals. So only use them at night time, only when you absolutely need to. If you've not saved your game on the first day, you will actually have to start all the way from the beginning, so make sure you go and do that before the night is out or the first chance you come across a tent. You can find tents all around the islands. They'll enable you to save your game and skip through to daytime once it hits midnight. You'll also be able to have this option on boats and in other areas, so make sure you go up to structures like these and see if you can save your game. It gives you the option to play the game a little bit differently if you want to focus on just getting weapons and stored up with lots of food, rather than trying to build a base frantically in the first day, which you'll find very hard. So seek out a tent first or the boat and save your progress that way for the first night or two. Don't get too comfortable though just using these structures. You will need defences as the cannibals get stronger and stronger, more frequent and frequent, and before you know it, you'll have mutants after you. Now when you do manage to get some cannibals and you've knocked them out, make sure you go ahead and burn them. This sounds absolutely gross, but the forest almost encourages you to eat the other people. It's kind of a window on what you would do. Would you turn cannibalistic if you were stuck on an island all alone trying to survive? When you burn the bodies, you'll get loads of bones. You need bones to upgrade your armour, and you can also make furniture pieces and other structures with them too, so it's really useful to get in the habit of burning every single cannibal you kill. To help do that, make sure you upgrade your weapons. You can put certain attributes onto a lot of the weapons. You can add speed, you can add extra damage. These things will really help out when you're fighting against more and more of the cannibals. You can see here you can make a poisoned, a speed, more boosted weapon, more damage, or a burning weapon. For these buffs, you're going to need a lot of teeth and feathers. That is probably one of the biggest things you're going to need. And your alcohol. Don't drink your alcohol if you can help it. Try and stick to just the soda or any of the pond water that you come across. You can even drink the sea if you want to, as long as you boil it up. I'm going to be giving another tutorial showing you guys all the crafted weapons you can make and which ones work best in what situation. But for now, it's just worth pointing out that you can do this. Make sure you pick up the teeth. They will disappear very quickly when you knock a few out from any cannibals, so make sure you pick them up, otherwise they will despawn. You can suffer from cold and hypothermia in the forest, but it's not often a problem unless you're really going up north. If you start to see your screen icing up, try and make a fire quickly and you'll soon return to normal. Another aspect you might need to be careful of is being covered in blood. As the screen says, wash it off or you are more prone to infection. There are other buffs that you can apply to yourself. You can cover yourself in mud and eventually you'll be able to cover yourself in red paint, which I do believe scares away some of the cannibals sometimes. As weapons go, the spear is pretty ineffective against cannibals. I definitely would go for a club or using a heavy crafted axe more. You can change clothing in the forest quite frequently as you come across outfits, however not all of them give you any sort of armour boosts or buffs, so don't be assuming just because you swap clothes it's going to give you something in return. It's just for the look for it. Some fairly decent armour in game early on is going to be lizard skin. You can wear it directly or you can combine it with leaves to make stealth armour. It will give you 2 additional bars of armour and it's well worth having this protection early in game. Later on you'll be able to craft armours out of bones and it's definitely worthwhile getting an early start with this so that cannibals won't do as much damage to you when they're hitting you. The stealth armour gives you a little bit of extra ability as well not to be noticed by wildlife and some of the cannibals if they're on their patrols, but not by much. The forest can offer many ways to play it, but the crucial thing to remember is this: the cannibals will start coming for you. No matter where you build your base, even if you built it far away, the minute you start coming onto land, they will start hunting you down on their patrols. And when the mutants come, you're going to be in trouble unless you've built yourself loads of traps and defences. I'm going to be covering that in a separate video, but I hope this starter guide has given you an idea of what to expect when you're starting out for the very first time. Maybe give you a couple little tips. I will be going through more tips as I keep finding them and giving you guys all the up-to-date information about any changes they've made since it's come to the PS4. In short, get off the boat, decide what you're going to do. If you're lucky enough that you find some tents, maybe focus on just getting your armour and your food supplies up. If you do have to craft your own base, make sure it's pretty simple. Don't build it too close to any patrols and make sure you come far away from any encampments initially. The beach is always a good idea and you'll find lots of loot and wildlife that you can kill for food, or like this turtle using its shell as a pot for water or gathering. But for me, your first few days should all be about upgrading your armor kits, making sure you've got enough bags that you can carry more items, and then finding that good location where you can start setting up your base, and hopefully deterring the cannibals from eating your ears, belly, eyes, mouth, nose, arms, legs, you name it, it's gonna go in their belly. I am Jade Plays Games. This has been my starter guide to the forest. If you've got any more tips, remember, put them in the comment section down below. And don't forget, I'm going to be working on a lot more, so don't worry if you don't see anything I should have maybe covered. Give me a chance to get some more content out to you. Until then, I'll see you ratbags later.